Betsy Gilman, the event manager of the 2024 Banana George Blairfoot Bananza. And we're going to get to that in just a minute, but also an integral part of the Barefoot World Championships that were just hosted in Auburndale. So Betsy, thank you so much for coming by and
Sure,
speaking with us.
I'm so happy to be here. I thought you'd never ask.
I didn't. Josh did.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true.
No, well, you've been so busy. If you look at the, long known as the water ski capital of the world here in Polk County, it goes all the way back to the Popes and what was done at Cypress Gardens. And of course, still having the Cypress Gardens water ski team over there at Lake Silver in Winter Haven, which is a fantastic facility. The city of Winter Haven did an extraordinary job. And of course, we were glad through Polk County to be a part of that project. But before we get to that, you were an integral part of the Barefoot World Championships that happened a couple weeks ago in Auburndale. Talk a little bit about that event and kind of the craziness of the storm and all the things that the event went through.
Well, as you know, we have been planning that event for like a year and a half. And John Cornish, who is head of our local organizing committee, and I and a small group on the steering committee, we've been working really hard to get everything done. And then and we had an amazing opening ceremony at Lake Silver with the Cypress Gardens ski team, which was just amazing. And we went from the highest high to the forecast the next morning for Hurricane Milton. And we had to scramble. We were able to finish about a round and a half of our tournament, which we were super happy. We had people from about 10, 11 countries here to compete. Of course, Championship Lake is right next to Margaritaville. So unexpectedly, as Hurricane Milton came in, we had to evacuate about 77 Australians from Margaritaville. And what they did, what was like so cool, is that the show ski families, the Barefoot families in Winter Haven, brought them into their house for a couple nights because they couldn't stay in the trailers or park models at Margaritaville. And it was just really, really an amazing event. After the hurricane, everything was flooded. As you know, the lake wasn't safe. Really, none of the lakes in Winter Haven were safe, so we had to kind of wrap it up, but we had an amazing closing ceremony and a Legends Night at Margaritaville, and we're still able to celebrate barefoot water skiing.
I have to tell you a funny story. Usually, those of us who have lived in Florida a long time, you know what the plan is. With emergency responders always have a plan, all that. So if you've been here for a while, you have that plan in place, and you should have that. And so I kept checking my phone. You were talking about Margaritaville. I believe those cottages are rated up to Category 2 or something like that. And what a great job they did, Margaritaville, in ensuring, working together, the safety of those participants that were in our county. But my wife was like, "Are you really worried about this storm? You keep checking your phone." I'm like, "No, I want to see how fast it's going to get because we might have to move a bunch of people." Yeah. And so, and then we were able to, but it goes back to, and we're going to talk a little bit later about, some more water ski content, but it just is a testament to, if you ever question whether Polk County is the water ski capital of the world, what happened in this community to make sure that all those participants were safe was a perfect example of what the water skiing means in Polk County.
Yeah, this place is the water ski capital of the world. It's where I met my husband barefoot water skiing. It's where I learned barefoot water ski better. It's where I learned to swivel ski. We just love all of the events that we have, especially now at the new lake over in Auburndale. It's just an amazing place to do events.
Well, you were talking about how the community is very close-knit. Kind of switching gears over to the event that we got coming up. Can you speak to the significance of Banana George and what this event can attribute to him?
Well, Banana George he's considered the ambassador of water skiing, and not just like barefooting or show skiing, but all water skiing. He did everything, and he also snow skied. He lived in Winter Haven for a long time, and you spoke earlier that he had a yellow house, he had a yellow boat, he had a yellow car. All his clothes were yellow. That's why I'm wearing yellow today. But not only was he a great ambassador for a sport, but he put energy back into our sport and made our sport, especially barefoot water skiing, kind of, more like accessible to others throughout the country. He did commercials for Chiquita Bananas and Armor All, and he was really, truly amazing and put a lot of money into the sport and support. So he started the Banana George Blairfoot Bananza, I think in the late 90s at Cypress Gardens, and eventually moved it to Lake Silver and we basically do it the same way that he did it. But it's a 2-day event, and Saturday we do a figure 8, and Sunday we do endurance, and it's kind of accessible to everybody.
Well, we're live here on Friday, October 25th, but the event is Saturday and Sunday, October 26th and 27th. So if you're catching this after the event, there's always a number of water ski events that are going on in our community, so we'll make sure that you get that information. But let me say this, and after watching the IWWF Barefoot Worlds, and I say this with all sincerity and affectionately, y'all are crazy. And I know you appreciate that, because I'm like, I learned so much, and part of the concern coming back after the hurricane was one of the things Cody McGee from the city of Auburndale said when we were trying to figure out if we could get you back on the water. He's like, and this was a new one for my career. I've been doing this a long time, and he's like, well, the water level's really high, and I'm missing some trees. What do you mean you're missing some trees? They're not there anymore, and they might be in the lake. So I was like, well, that's a new one. But safety. Yeah. So literally, there's nothing on. It is barefoot. It's not like there is some sort of anything there. Talk about that. And I also learned that the boat has to be going a certain miles per hour, or you don't actually rise out of the water. Like, talk about all that. Yeah, so
most of the barefooters that were at the World Championships go between 40 and 45 miles an hour. And it's just you and your foot in the water. And when you come at it at 45 miles an hour, if there's a 2x4 or a tree, that can break you.
Literally.
You literally break you. And I have hit a 2x4 before and broke my foot. So you don't want to hit anything in the water. So.
But even with perfect, nothing's there or whatever, talk about the process of the boat taking off. Obviously you're submerged in the water, not completely, but the boat taking off and what is going on with the feet?
Well, you basically make your body into a ski, and if you're going forward, you rise up on your bottom and you stand up on your feet in kind of a 3-point position. Ron Scarpa, who was a big, he developed the 3-point position. So you stand up and you ski away, but you have to be at speed. You can't be going 20 miles an hour or something. So,
Josh, did you catch? She said if you're going forward.
I understand.
You're out there as well.
Yeah.
There's backward skiing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you start on your chest, face down in the water, and you do again that tripod position.
Unbelievable athletes.
Yes, to quote him, they are all insane, but in a good way. That's right. We've been down at the lake quite a bit, and I grew up in Florida, and obviously have skied and seen my fair share of water sports. But to see it done at Lake Silver and Championship Lake at Lake Myrtle, it's a different thing. Can you kind of speak to the difference between the Barefoot Worlds barefoot skiing and what you're going to be doing this weekend at Blairfoot?
Yeah, absolutely. So the World Championships are the 3-event World Championships, and it's 3 events just like water skiing with sticks, or skis. Sorry, we call them sticks. So there's tricks, slalom, and jumping. Okay. So the slalom is a little different than with the ski, is that there's no course you go through. It's how many times you cross the wake forward on 1 foot in 15 seconds and backwards on 1 foot in 15 seconds. Tricks, there's points for each thing that you do, and you have 15 seconds forward, 15 seconds backwards. Jumping, you just go over, now it's not the same kind of jump as a water ski jump, it's just 18 inches high, but you go over that and it's how far you jump. You get 3 jumps, your longest jump is the thing. And what we're doing on Lake Silver is a little more of kind of an entry level water skiing. Now I'm not saying they're not tough and it's not hard, but you go in a figure 8 pattern, 2 people behind the boat, and you try to outlast the other person. Okay. And it's a little more it's a little more head to head. It makes it really fun to watch because you're like, when one person goes down, there's really good falls because it's rougher because you're going in a figure eight. We go in a straight line at the World Championships. It was just back and forth, but this is like a figure eight pattern.
In my head, I have roller derby. Like
yes,
like
it
that's what
is.
that
It is. But you can't cross the center of the wake, so you can't get in the other person's way. But it's definitely it's a skill.
And I was talking to some of the other skiers, and they were mentioning the differences between regular barefoot and then maybe show ski, and how the conditions of the water completely changed the mentality and the competition. You kind of alluded to it being not entry level, but would you say that this event is more of a leading off into other disciplines for barefoot skiing, or other disciplines for water skiing in general?
Absolutely. So a few years ago, we had a young man come for the first time to ski in our tournament, and he actually skied in the Junior Worlds a couple weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So it is definitely like kind of an entry level, like, oh, I love barefoot water skiing. I want to do more. I want to learn more. And World Barefoot Center, which is here in Winter Haven, is a great place to learn. And there's great coaches there. And so he came, he learned, and he skied the Junior World Championships.
Well, speaking of, is there a website, or is there somewhere an interest? Somebody at home is watching this and they say, you know what, I might want to give that a try, or I want to try water skiing, being that Polk County is the water ski capital of the world. Is there a website that they can go to, get more information?
So for the Banana George, it's bananageorge.org, and for barefoot water skiing in general, barefoot.org. So those are the two that you could go to find out more about barefoot water skiing. And Banana George.
Well, we certainly appreciate the time and look forward to the Blairfoot Bonanza.
Yes.
October 26th and 27th there at Lake Silver in Winter Haven. Of course, that's at the Martin Luther King Park there in downtown, where in 2022, the Show Ski Worlds were hosted there. So you had that in 22. Recently, we had the Adaptive National Championships here in Auburndale. Then we had the Barefoot Worlds, and then we had the Pan American Wakeboard Championships. So there's no shortage of events to make it out to here in Polk County. And as always, you can go to visitcentralflorida.com for a full list of those events, or as Betsy was just saying. So good luck with this event.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the hard work that you had during Barefoot Worlds.
Yes.
And we know there's even more events that are going to be coming to Polk County soon.
Yeah, next year, Barefoot Nationals right here.
All right.